Hello, welcome. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Pain and Misery. Mets drop their fifth straight game. I believe that eight of the last nine of the last 10, something along those lines, if I'm not mistaken. You guys could correct me if I'm wrong. So here's the deal for tonight's show. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't know where this is going to go tonight, this post game show, because there's no script to these things. But I made a promise to myself in, I would say, about the fourth or fifth inning. I think more so the fourth inning, when I sat here and was thinking to myself, I'm not going to even I'm not even gonna get worked up tonight when I do the post game show. And you know what the sad part is? That was before they were losing this game that I thought that to myself. Because when I saw that they scored 2 runs off of solo shots, I I didn't need to watch the rest of the game. The only thing I was off about with the way that I thought the rest of the game was gonna go is I thought they weren't going to get a hit the remainder of the game. And of course, we got the typical Mets tease in the ninth inning. And for whatever reason, in the Cleveland series, they elect to use Tyrone Taylor to pinch run. Tonight, they don't. And for whatever reason, Mike Sarbaugh sends Starling Marte, age 50,001 years old, on the hit to center field tonight against one of the best defensive teams in all baseball, but didn't want to send Tyrone Taylor, who was halfway around third the other night against Cleveland. It's just basic little details that this team isn't getting right. And I'm going to read you guys a tweet, which is now inaccurate, but it's really still paints the picture because does anyone even care about the 2 hits that they rallied with late? I really don't care. But either way, this is from James Shiano of the Mets Up podcast. And this was before they got the 2 hits, like I said. So now you can add 2 hits to this. The Mets have 1 hit after the fourth inning in their last 3 games combined. Juan Soto's home run to break up the no-hitter. You can now add the Marte hit, which he was the only one that came to play today at all. And you can now add as well the Jeff McNeil hit at the end of the game. So 3 hits in their last 3 games after the fourth inning from this type of offense. I'm not going to sit here and run in circles anymore because you know the conversation. We all know the conversation at hand here. It's the hitting coach, the players aren't executing, and the worst thing too is you have the general manager and president who is either telling us fables as if we're stupid or he's going up there and he genuinely believes what he's saying, which that would be a bigger concern. But you have the GM still trying to say, well, the process is good. We'll get around to it. If he genuinely believes that, I I really do not even care about the remainder of the season. Truthfully, I don't because this team's not going anywhere. If that's truly how he feels, I don't know if that's him saying it to the media as if we're stupid and to not single anyone out, even though I think there's a way to go about it without singling anyone out. I think you should be holding accountable your hitting coaches and your players that are not getting it done either way. I think there's a way to do it and there's a fine line. But instead, you have him saying that. And again, you don't have to think David Stern should be fired. You could think David Stern should be fired. I am not of the camp that thinks David Stern should be losing his job, but I just cannot understand how he believes, if he genuinely believes that, I do not understand how. That's very concerning if he does. And he should have brought in his own hitting coach. But the fact that he might believe that, like I said, there's really no point in caring anymore because it just shows you no one's going to be held accountable. And quite frankly, it worries me going into next year as well. Are they even going to fire Chavez by the end of the year, even though it is this bad? I don't know. But you're lucky the Pirates bailed you out tonight. I cannot believe we're in territory we have to thank the Pirates for beating the Reds. That's where this team is that was once 20 games above 500, by the way. We have to be thankful that the Reds are losing games to the Pirates. 1-9 in their last 10. Now I'm starting to wish they didn't win that game against the Giants because just maybe that would show this front office that the offense is not good enough. I don't know how, again, there is a fine line. I don't understand how Stearns doesn't say, the hitting approach needs adjustments. We're not executing, and something's got to give there. Again, there is a good way of going about this. Don't tell us lies. Because if you think the process is good, then how do you explain this team not being able to hit a fastball if their life depended on it? How do you explain that one? Dying to know. It's just so hilarious that it was 2 solo home runs tonight. It just always is, especially from Juan Soto. I mean, I tweeted it out, and it's unfortunately the truth. Anytime Juan Soto's up with the runners on base, write 4-3 in the scorebook. Might as well. I don't know. I'm just not in the mood to sit here and yell anymore about this, scream anymore about this, because again, I'm sitting here talking about the same thing every single night. And I don't know what you want me to say differently. And then it's very unfortunate too. And I'm not blaming Brooks Raley because, like I've talked about at nauseum, you cannot expect this pitching staff to be perfect. You cannot expect this bullpen to be perfect. But it's very unfortunate that Brooks Raley, ahead in the county, hits a batter. And once that happened, that was officially my moment of. I already had a feeling they were going to lose the game when Senga started to unravel, which once again, another piss poor start from him. But I knew once Raley did that, I knew it was over. And again, he did relatively his job. If you told me he would come in and allow one run, even though again the fashion it happened sucks, but with bases loaded and one out, you told me he would come in and allow one run, I would have said, okay, sign me up to an extent. I would say sign me up if this offense was normal and functioning like it should be. But for most case scenarios, you would sign up for that scenario because you would figure, okay, maybe it's a ground out, maybe it's, a sacrifice fly, whatever. But unfortunately, he hit a batter. And you knew then and there this thing was done. We're not surprised. 9 of the last 10. I hate this team as well. No one is shocked. It is who they are. And it's sad to say. It's really unfortunate that this is who they are. Because I had so much hope going into this year. And I genuinely believed in my heart of hearts that last year was going to be a big learning experience for this group. And they would build on this. I stand corrected. It's very unfortunate. I mean, the fact that we're in hate watching the Reds territory is sad. And we're not even in we shouldn't even have to hate watch them because they should control their own destiny here, the Mets. But nope. Heaven forbid they win a baseball game. Heaven forbid they score runs. I really don't even care if they get a 2-1 win at any point. I don't care if they even score a lot of runs and win because I know the next day they're going to show up to the ballpark and lay an egg because it's been the theme all year. While we're here, let's go through the schedule and count the wins where you could say, you know what? The offense did their job. The offense really prevailed them in the game. Let's take a look. In March, you could maybe argue that Marlins game on March 31st. They went 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position, though. Do you really want to count it? I don't know. And then, like, even the Wednesday game they played on April 2nd, piss poor numbers with runners in scoring position. I mean, the games that really stick out to me, you have April 28th versus the Nationals. So that's one game right there. Actually, what about this April 8th game against the Marlins as well? I mean, 3 for 14 with runners in scoring position, too. But if we're being nice, we could count one of those Marlins games. I would say the next game after that, man, I can't even sit here and say any of the May games were because of the offense. The Phillies game on June 21st. So where are we at? 3 or 4? The Rockies game in June. 4 or 5. The Yankees game. And then the Giants. So count on one, maybe two hands. And if you want to be generous and give those Marlins games, okay, we're talking about probably 8 games there at most, where you could sit here and say the offense really showed up. How sad is that for a team that's built on their offense? How sad. Wild card loss might be very generous at this point. I'm not even talking playoffs anymore. I'm not treating this team seriously until they give me some sort of reason to. They've been closer to a 500 team than above 500 team since the middle of May or beginning of June, whatever date you want to look at. But most of the season, they've been closer to a 500 team than the team that was 20 games above 500. Why should I take this team seriously? I just have no reason to. And yeah, I mean, this is what I was saying with the Peterson thing, where it's got to take a toll mentally on these starters that they got to go out there and be perfect. They know how bad the offense is. They won't admit it, but they know it. It's the common denominator that it's mostly games where they score 2 or 3 runs. because Lindor is showing that the Mets were right to not name him captain. I really don't care anymore. Like, I'm sorry, and this is coming from someone that thought at a point that I would like him to be named captain. No, there's no captain on this team. I wish I could hear this Mendoza quote of why he didn't use Taylor for Marte. I can't hear the quote, but I see it on my Twitter timeline. If anyone could give me the quote, I'd love to know. Again, there's a way to be professional while holding them accountable. And if that's the case, then why are these guys still here when there's data to prove that they shouldn't be? That's my counter argument. The only way I think if they miss the playoffs, maybe they actually go. Second time in a few weeks, they're 1-9 their last 10. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. It's only in April. It's only May, right? Remember that? Remember all that? Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing that I could give Senga any if I'm going to give him a sliver of the benefit of the doubt, which he still needs to be a hell of a lot better. No question about it. But if I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt in any regard, that's what I could give him the benefit of the doubt for. Is that you have to be perfect out there because this offense isn't going to score. If he actually said that, I can't anymore. I'm tired of hearing this quote every single game. Man, I wish I could hear this quote from Mendoza. I actually have it my speakers hooked up. I'm sorry if it comes through on the mic, but I do want to hear this. Because Marte's a good runner? Because Marte's a good runner. In 2025, Marte's a good runner when he's been predominantly injured because of his knees. Marte's a good runner. Good runner. I won't do it. I won't yell. I won't scream. I'm holding myself back tonight. I'm trying my best to. I could do it. I don't want to break my self promise here. But holy crap. Holy crap. Wow. Unreal. I get for the content. You guys want it, but I just I don't want to do it tonight. I feel like I've been doing it so much lately that I'm trying my best not to do it because I'm trying to remind myself again, might be good content, but it is not worth anymore yelling over this crap when it's the same thing every single night. In fact, before I even go off the rails, I'm going to wrap things up here. I think this is a good place to end it. All I could say is that this team needs to find a way to wake the fuck up. It's not going to happen. I want to make that clear that I have no faith it's going to happen. But legit, all we could do is hope by some Christmas miracle that something gives. And that Christmas miracle at this rate would be Eric Chavez getting fired. Thank you everyone for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next one.